What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. You can find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Tim in Green Bay here to talk some Packers this evening as we are on the eve of Packers versus Texans at Lambeau Field. Beautiful forecast. There you go. These guys right here. I'll tell you, you're going to need those sunglasses, Coach Half, tomorrow. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous out there, right?
Yes,
I think
sir.
they're calling for 75 degrees and sunny. It's going to be awesome, man. Going to be a good day for some football. First things first, Tim, let's give a shout-out tonight to the good folks over at Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. Wisconsin-based since 92, specializing in Packers tickets. They are Wisconsin's largest ticket source with offices next to Lambeau and in Milwaukee. Click on the link in the video description. That'll send you to theticketking.com where you can register for free as a customer. Go ahead and start shopping for your Packers tickets. Again, that's Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. So as we're getting ready for this game tomorrow, Tim, I know you had mentioned in a tweet, kind of funny, it's the winter warning game that we've all been ready for, right? But it's funny that, with the weather supposed to be 75 degrees, you think, oh, what were they thinking? But also, I heard someone say on the radio the other day, I was listening to a Green Bay radio, and they were saying, if they did it in the middle of winter, it would be hard to get everybody to dress in white because everybody had their camo on, they'd have their orange on, all their hunting gear, right? So it is kind of a good move by the Packers to do it in October before it gets too chilly that everybody would wear it. But I thought this was hilarious. The Packers tweeted this out. You're going to stick out like a sideways pinky if you're not wearing white on Sunday. So I'm pretty sure we know who they're referencing there. But, Tim, it's going to be awesome in this whiteout game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with that sentiment. Like, if you didn't do it this week, I'm looking at the schedule over here. It'd probably be the Lions would be your next opportunity, maybe the 49ers. But by mid-November, I mean, forget it. There could be snow on the ground already. So I get the whole sentiment of the winter warning, but it is kind of funny. It's a total Wisconsin thing that, it's going to be almost 80 degrees tomorrow for the winter warning game. But, hey, I love it. All white, bust them out. Let's go. This is a kind of impromptu throwback to what we discovered the other night, right? We had white helmets with the green stripe going down the middle back in the 50s for a handful of seasons. So chance to kind of, pay homage to our founding fathers here at Titletown and also look crispy, as the kids say, fresh to death for the winter warning game tomorrow. So I'm all for it, man. The white unis look good. The boys have been wearing them all week. I think since at least Monday, they've been working out with them on. So they're used to them. They're ready to roll. And I already know that the crowd is going to be hype tomorrow in wearing all white. So I love it.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time, man. I'm excited. Anytime they do a uniform change up, I always enjoy it. There was a college team today wearing the brown helmets like the Packers wore back in the day. I personally loved them, where it kind of represented the leather helmets. But the way they did it, they did a 3D painting on the helmet that looked like the leather stripping and everything.
Wow.
They looked sick. I want to say it was Michigan and maybe Indiana or Illinois, one of those teams. Really, really cool. But obviously, here the Packers tweeting this out. You're going to stick out like a sideways pinky. We know who that's in reference.
How about these hands?
So pretty cool little Easter egg there for Packer fans. I think it's awesome that they're upping their game on social media, man. It's been a good year for that crew. Yeah. They really took the David Bakhtiari criticism serious, didn't they?
Yeah, for sure. I still love those throwbacks too, man. The old the 1919, the 1921, with the dark blue. And the, like you said, the leather neck kind of look. I love it.
Yeah, I do too, man. It's people are going to find something to complain about regardless. So the ones who didn't like it, I mean, it just kind of comes with the territory, right? There's always going to be someone who doesn't like it. And I know there's other people that pop up and say, oh, well, you gotta stick to the tradition. You shouldn't wear anything other than the original uniforms, this and that. I got you. I understand, but it's okay to loosen up, have a little fun every now and again.
Do we still have that image from the other day? Because it basically broke down, the years, right? It was 58, 59, and 60, I think. They had the white helmet with the green stripe. There it goes.
Yeah.
56 to 58. Okay, there you go. Yeah. So plain white helmet with dark green stripe. That's basically what we're what we're kind of paying homage to tomorrow. You know,
I like
we added the G to the side, you know, but I get it. I love it.
Yeah, I do too, man. Tell you what else I love, man. Some Josh Jacobs. That dude is running. I mean, it's not that he's like putting up like gaudy numbers, Tim, like he's averaging 6 yards a carry or anything. But the dude is so durable. There's no wasted yards out there. There's no two ways about it. Now, the Packers, according to PFF, their run blocking is down. So the fact that he's fourth in the league, or I think fifth in the league in rushing, is just wild as far as rushing yards. I put this tweet out earlier, and I said, Green Bay Packers running back Josh Jacobs is now the fifth ranked halfback according to PFF, and that is if you set the minimum at 70 attempts. Okay, so there's like one or two guys. I think if you just removed all filters there, all minimum requirements, I'm pretty sure Josh Jacobs is like eighth or ninth. But if you move it down to 70 attempts or more, he's the fifth highest graded halfback according to PFF. He's also fifth in the NFL in rushing yards at 464 rushing yards coming into week 7. He has 12 explosive runs on the year, which is obviously the running plays that are 10 plus yards per play. Okay, so the amount of plays that he's rushed for more than 10 yards on a single play is 12. And if you take it a step further, 3 of those 12 exceeded 20 yards. And I believe the number, I had it wrote down earlier, I want to say it was 22, 32, and 34. But here are those plays. I thought let's jump in and see exactly what they're doing as far as these explosive plays go, especially the ones that are cracking over 20 yards. So let's start this first one here. It's a 22-yard run. This is against the Eagles in week 1. This is 26 zone right. I put zone right because it kind of looked like it might have been zone left, but the run goes to the right. So I didn't want to say zone left and then the ball go to the right. You know what I'm saying? So it could be just a straight gap call as well, but I think it was designed to go off tackle here to the right. So you're going to aim for the outside hip of Zach Tom. But the interesting thing is Zach Tom's going to crash over and actually help block this defensive tackle here who is playing a 0, a 2. He is playing a 3 tech. All right. So as we roll it here, again, 26, the first number, is the player. If it was a quarterback, it'd be 1. It's the halfback, it's 2. If it's the fullback, it's 3. If it's the right halfback in a split backfield, it would be 4. And then the gaps are assigned with numbers. So to the right are even numbers. So your A gap right would be the 2 gap, the 4 gap, then the 6 is outside tackle. Okay. On the left side, it's odd numbers. So it would be 1, 3, 5 is how that would line up. All right. So again, this is 26 zone right. So you're going to aim for the outside hip of the tackle, okay? Now, watch Tom on this play. This is wild. So you're going to see him crack inside and help with a double team block, and he just absolutely demolishes 97. I'm pretty sure that's Jalen Carter, if I remember correctly. So I think that's Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis there. But look at that lane he's got to run in, Tim. Look at all that right there. And again, just cut upfield, no wasted motion. The little jump cut there, by the way.
That's what bought the extra yardage, right? The jump cut.
Watch him make those 2 Eagles hit each other. Like that Eagle is tackling his own teammate here.
Yep.
Check that out. That's what you want to see. Bang.
This is what they always talk about when there are no holes in the NFL. There are seams. Like you see right here, a great job by Zach Tom. There's a big hole, and then immediately it closes up. You know, the jump cut from Jacobs is everything on this play. It
really is. Whoop. Oh, beautiful, man. Beautiful. So that was a 22-yarder in week 1 against the Eagles. The next one is a 32-yard run against the Eagles, all right? And this is 23 duo. You'll hear us talk about duo a lot. Duo, remember, is vertical power, okay? And what we mean by vertical power, if it was a normal power play, you would see an offensive lineman change gaps, okay? He would actually come across one whole gap as a lead blocker. That's what you call power, right? Or, you could go weak counter and do like a weak GT counter and have like on the weak side, the guard pull over, that type of thing. With vertical power, what we mean is they're getting to the next level, but they're not changing gaps, okay? And what you're going to notice here is 2 double teams with those guys breaking off the double team and getting to the second level. That's why I believe it was 23 duo. And again, 2 is the running back, 1, 3. So you're going to go with the B gap on the left is where this is designed to run 23 duo, which is basically duo left. You see a little bit of that boomerang motion we talk about, orbit, bang, right inside. Here we go on the inside hip of Rasheed Walker, and we're off to the races.
God, he's so good, man.
There's no
Most
waste.
running backs move that to the outside and they get blown up. He has
Yeah.
the wherewithal to just be patient, step right into that seam as it develops. This is what they talk about when they call him a patient runner. Patient with the ball in his hands, let the play develop, hit the hole.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. It's a beautiful job. Now, what I want you to key in on the duo when we're talking duo. So you've seen this double team right here. You also had a double team here. So now Rasheed's going to break off that double team and get vertical. That's what we mean with the vertical power, right? And you see there's two guys doing it. Some people refer to this as double-double, right? Or duo. So you're seeing 75 get out here, Sean Ryan get out here after he helped double, and Rasheed Walker getting out to the next level after he helped double. So anytime that you see offensive linemen getting to the second level, two, after they've already helped with the double team, 90% of the time it's going to be duo or double-double, all right? So, again, great job blocking and great hustle by Sean Ryan getting upfield too. But, yeah, Josh Jacobs is just a man amongst boys, man. I'm so glad he's with the Packers. All right, let's go to the Colts game now. And this was the 34-yard run. And, again, 23 duo. So what are we going to do? 1, 3. So it's going to be in between the guard and the tackle. And I'm pretty sure this was duo as well. We're doing it out of the shotgun this time. So you notice double team, right? See these two double teams here?
Yep.
Also, a little double team right here is going to get to the next level. And watch these guys. Now they break off and pick up another block up here. That's what we mean by double-double or duo, okay? And listen, there's some people in the chat probably say, nope, that's zone, Clayton. We can agree to disagree because it is a big debate. When you talk about duo and inside zone, it's really, really hard to determine which is which. But nonetheless, these guys getting out here on the next level. Man, look at Josh Myers on that rep. Holy cow. Look at 71 get out here. I think that was Josh. Yeah. So what's Josh Myers?
Yeah.
Bang right there.
It's like a double team.
Yeah.
He's going to hit here, and then he's going to come back and help chip again. He almost gets in on the third level, too, on the third defender, which is crazy.
He actually gets hands on 3 different defenders. 1, 2, 3.
3, yep.
That's pretty wild, man. That's that athleticism, man. No doubt about it. And again, you see Rasheed Walker. Watch, he's going to double the. All right, now we're out here. Bang.
See, this is like what you talk about, Clayton, with Josh Myers. Like all of that we just saw, all that action was inside 10 yards.
Right.
Like inside 10 yards, he's golden. But, man, if he's got to get downfield and get out there in space, it can be chaotic.
Yeah. And I really think he's just pressing, to be honest with you. He's got all the athletic ability you need to play center at a high level. I think he gets out there in space and kind of panics,
Yeah.
And listen, it's harder than it looks. So you would think this guy's 320 pounds and he can't close in on that little linebacker. Man, those guys are quick. And all it takes is one half a step in the wrong direction and they're around you.
Exactly. You think 320 pounds moving in one direction, it's pretty hard to just change directions on the drop of a dime, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it. So, again, just wanted to highlight those running plays that were 20 yards or more. Again, Josh Jacobs is now up to 3 of those plays, which are a part of his 12 explosive plays this season. Here's the other thing. The way he runs, Tim, he's not quite like this trying to think of how to say it. He's not extremely fast. He's not like a scat back. He's not one of these guys that are just an absolute slasher and just really, really fast top speed. But he's also not a guy that's just like runs with just brute force Derrick Henry type power. He's kind of in between. You know what I mean? So I kind of look at him like a mid-size SUV that's got four-wheel drive. You know what I mean? And I say that because when the winter starts to hit for the Packers and you're going to need to lean on that running game, I like him in the cold more than I would like Aaron Jones. And you guys know I'm an Aaron Jones stan till the end. But Josh Jacobs runs with heavy feet in a good way. Like he always has good contact balance. And I think when it's chilly outside and those guys don't want to pop those pads as much, and also when the field starts to get slick, I think he's going to be a lot more effective than Aaron Jones in those conditions. What do you think about that?
I mean, I like the comparison because to me, I look at him like he's like a hybrid. All the things you love about Aaron Jones's game and all the things you love about Derrick Henry's game, that's Josh Jacobs. When he needs to lower the shoulder, he'll lower the shoulder. He can play big boy running back if you need him to in a pinch. like you said, cold weather games. Ball security has been kind of touch and go off and on, but for the most part, he had that one fumble at the goal line against the Colts, and so far so good with him. But dynamic in the pass game, able to run motion, able to sidestep defenders even if a play gets blown up. We saw him bounce one to the outside after the B gap got sealed up, scored a tutter for us. I mean, these are the same things you like about Aaron Jones and the same things you like about Derrick Henry. Rough and tumble back when you need him to be, light on his feet, quick and agile when you need him to be. And I'm just waiting for Josh Jacobs to get that first receiving touchdown, man. Let's get the monkey off the back already. But other than that, man, he's just so fun to watch, man. He really is. And I'm with you, Clayton. I think at the end of the day, durability factor, that ground and pound, rough and tumble, November, December, January football at 1265, you need a guy like Josh Jacobs. We love Aaron Jones, but we all know that, for the last few years prior to this season, like we always talked about A.J. Dillon stepping up in the cold weather games. And a lot of the times it's because you need a back like that. And I just think it's refreshing to see Josh Jacobs here able to do that consistently throughout the year. And hopefully he stays healthy down the stretch and, continues to be that weapon for us on offense.
Yeah, and it's a good point, too. And, the big thing about Aaron Jones as well is we were like, can he stay healthy? Right? Guys, he's on IR, best of my knowledge, right? Like it happened again. And it's going to happen. The way he runs, and it's a testament to how he plays the game. Obviously, he plays with a reckless abandon that we absolutely adored forever. Yep. But same time, man, so far, Josh Jacobs has stayed healthy, and I think that's what Goody had in mind. Coach Lynn in the chat said he don't get caught from behind very often. It's true. You'll see him take angles and catch him, right? But again, we haven't seen it once this year where he's gotten chased down from behind. So that's a very good point there, Coach Lynn.
And most of his runs, whether it's, inside or outside, it doesn't matter. Like it's usually positive yardage, even if it's a yard or two falling forward, keeping the feet moving. Every once in a while, you'll see him get blown up and, stop his feet or something. And he's tackled for no gain. But most of the time, it's forward momentum all the time with Josh Jacobs, no matter what. And you're going to get positive yardage. It's like you were talking about earlier. He may not have the most yards per carry when it comes to the averages, but man, he can break off chunk runs and explosive plays, at the drop of a dime. And I love it.
Yeah, definitely. So appreciate you, Coach Lynn. 2-0 for this says Jonesy was a unicorn of a back, but Jacobs is the type of horse you ride into battle. I love it, man. I love the puns. I love the word salad that my man 2-0 for this always throws. He's like a poet in here.
Ain't no problem. Huh? That ain't no problem.
Well, it's perfect drop. Rail in the chat. Good to see you, bud. He said, hey, Clayton, was wondering before the game tomorrow if we had a chance to look at the difference in the defense from last year when it comes to run/pass per game allowed. We can do it. Why don't we do that right now? I had this as kind of a part of the show this evening, and we're going to get into a little more of the preview as well with Next Gen Stats. But why don't we do that, Tim? Let's kind of look and see where, and thank you, Rail, for bringing that up, buddy. Let's kind of see what the defense has done as a whole. First of all, scoring defense, and let's go points per play. This year, so far, the Green Bay Packers are sitting at 0.323. All right, 0.323. And last year, they finished at 0.334. So they are definitely better this year. Last year, they finished 12th. This year, they're sitting at 19. All right. Now, let's go to, just to kind of keep it pretty simple, let's go rushing defense. And let's go, would you rather go yards per rush attempt or rushing yards per game, Tim? How do you feel about that? Because I tend to lean on rushing yards per attempt. But what do you think would be the best gauge to see how we're stacking up this year as opposed to last year?
I think given the convo we just had about the running backs, let's go with yards per rush attempt, right? Let's kind of get a year-to-year comparison. Maybe we can see the change between Jones and Jacobs here. So far.
Or we're actually talking about
overtime on D. I get you. Yeah, let's go attempt.
All right, cool. So when you're talking attempts, the Packers are tied for 10th, actually tied for 9th this year, allowing 4.3 yards per attempt. All right, 4.3 is the number so far this year. And again, what was that? 4.3 for 9th. All right. And then last year, the Green Bay Packers yards per rush attempt allowed was 4.5.
4.5 for 25th, though.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So you went from 25th up to ninth. And what's crazy is, if you'll remember, I think it was after the Indy game, we were like really bad. Like it was a lot worse than that. So according to these numbers, you climbed in ranking, but your yards per carry allowed has gone down a touch. So, or has gone up, meaning you dropped a little bit as far as production goes, but still pretty comparable. What would you like to do? I think you have to go by overall ranking, don't you? That's probably the best gauge of how everybody's stacking up through the NFL rather than going yards per carry. You agree with that, Tim? Like right now, I'm saying points per play, 2024 is better. I think it's hands down better, right?
Yeah.
What would you consider there, seeing that we're giving up more yards per carry this year, but last year we gave up more yards per carry, right? So it's definitely better this year, all the way around, right?
Yeah. It really seems like it.
Yeah. So let's see. Let's go down one more. 2024. Yeah, definitely. So it's 2024. So we got better there, right? All right. Now let's go to passing defense. And passing defense, let's go to yards per pass attempt. Kind of break it down to remove some of the wonkiness of that. And when it comes to passing yards allowed per attempt, this year you're at 6.6. So 6.6 compared to last year, where we were 6.7. So we've gotten better there too, all the way around. When it comes to points per play, the defense has improved. When it comes to rushing yards per attempt, the defense has improved. And when it comes to passing yards per attempt, the defense has improved. And you don't need me to tell you that the defense has improved in takeaways, which is the most important statistic. So,
and we're 4-2, right? We're 6 games into this year. So comparing to last season, which is a full season, we're 6 games in to this year, and we're already seeing an improvement. I love it.
And if you notice too, Tim, last year, that first 6 games was rough. Like we went on that bad losing streak and things kind of got a little haywire, right? You're seeing a better start this year. I think it's got a lot to do with the takeaways. There's a whole lot of things that come into factor, but the takeaways for me are the big thing. But yeah, better all the way across the board. TC fan with the super chat. This is Tom Cruise fan with the super chat. Appreciate you, buddy. What happens when this defense stops getting multiple turnovers a game? I still miss Joe Barry. Here, Coach Half is unimpressed. So let's say that we can't keep up this pace with the turnovers, right? And I think that's a fair way of looking at it. What it comes down to is points per play. That's the most important statistic for me, even more so than turnovers. And if there's somebody out there that says, Clayton, how can you say that? I'll tell you how I can say that. You have to choose one or the other. Which would you rather have? Give up less points and have more turnovers, or give up more points and have more? You know what I'm saying? Like you got to. If you had to pick and choose, I'm going points per game and points per play every single time. It's the most important statistic on the field. That's what Coach Hafley was talking about a few weeks ago in his presser, and everybody rolled their eyes, right? But he's like, I don't care how we win. We just need to win. We need to keep them off the scoreboard. So, but yeah.
I think it's a considering point, though, like to stress the turnovers, like looking at what we dealt with last year, right? How many squandered opportunities we had to, create turnovers on defense. We had drop picks. We had plenty of games where we were forcing fumbles and not recovering them. That's enough to make you pull your hair out.
Dropping interceptions.
Yeah, and it's like this year there's clearly, Coach Half's got an emphasis on, playing the ball. But at the end of the day, I'm with you, man. That's the name of the game. Don't give up points. You know what I mean? So if you're telling me they go from, 3 to 4 turnovers a game to 1 to 2 turnovers a game, and they're giving up, 21 points or 17 points a game, I'll take it, because I already know Jay Love in this offense, they're going to put 30 plus on the board every time when you need them to. So I think it's a valid point for sure. I just don't like it almost seems like there's an assumption, like what happens when this defense stops getting multiple turnovers a game. I could see it week in, week out, but I think consistently throughout this year, you're going to see ball hawking defense. And if it's not picks, it's going to be punch outs for fumble recoveries and, guys being aggressive playing towards the ball. So I agree, but I don't agree. You know what I mean? I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that this is going to necessarily, take a dip or, stop when it comes to the turnovers.
Yeah. It's just they're getting turnovers at such a rate that for me it's hard to believe that it's going to continue at the rate it is, because if it is, then it's going to be a record year, I would imagine. If we were to go to turnovers, let's look at it real quick. Turnovers, let's see. Let's go takeaways per game. All right, so this is obviously taking the ball away as an interception and a fumble. The Packers are at 2.8 takeaways per game. Let's see what led the league last year, Tim. Last year it was the let's see, takeaways per game. Yeah, the New York Giants at 1.8. So I mean, you had that's interesting. That's really interesting. So 1.8 last year. This year we're sitting at 2.8. So we have taken away the ball one whole extra time on average per game than they did last year. Now you'll notice there are other teams too. By that standard, there are 5 teams that have more turnovers than the team that led the league in turnovers last year, as far as takeaways per game. So again, if they keep it up, it's going to be historic. Let's go back one more year. Again, that number is 2.8, right? Let's go to 2022. 1.8 again. That 1.8 seems to be the number. Let's go 2021. 1.9. Yeah, Tim, this is historic, bro. This is wild. I don't know if we can go back this far. Let's go back to 2010. You want to? Green Bay 2.2.
There's a defense. There we go. That's what I'm saying. You're talking about every Sunday, Monday, Thursday, whatever it is, you're getting a turnover, at least one every game.
Yeah.
And we've had games with multiple turnovers. I understand like the sentiment that like you can't sustain that type of defense over the long term. You're going to have, ups and downs, but I do. I think this could be a historic Packers defense when it's all said and done. I mean, the chips are in play. We have the right pieces in place, and if guys stay healthy, who knows? Sky's the limit. But I do like what TC fan says here. It's kind of coming at it from realistic optimism, basically.
Right.
If we know this defense is the real deal, but how long can they sustain the turnover machine that they've created? I get it.
Yeah, definitely. Again, thank you for the super chat, TC. We appreciate you, pal. 2-0 for this says, along those lines, I think we win tomorrow if we score more points than the Texans. I'd say you're probably right there. So.
Astute observation.
I'm telling you. And if you go to points per play for our offense, let's just take a quick look here and see how we're doing. Points per play. The Packers are 8th in the league at 0.420. You got Tampa, Buffalo, Washington, Minnesota, Detroit, Cincinnati, Baltimore, then Green Bay. Chicago's 14th currently. So there you go. But again, I'm glad he asked that question, because it is nice to go back and look. And again, 2009 and 2010, Green Bay Packers were top 3 in takeaways per game.
Why don't we go back to 96 and 97? Can we go back that far?
Don't think we can, Tim. We'd have to fire up the old MS-DOS. You know what I mean? We can go back to 2003. That's it. So
okay.
But again, pretty cool stuff there. All right, let's shift gears and jump into a little next-gen stats, insights, preview of the game, what have you. Let me try to stretch this out just a touch. I think we're good right there. All right. So, obviously, the Packers are 3-point favorites tomorrow at Lambeau Field. It's going to be on CBS. I said before I thought Tom Brady was calling the game, and the reason I thought that was because we used the graphic that Fox Sports put out, Fox NFL Sunday put out earlier in the year, and it was talking about their games of the year. And I just assumed it was their broadcast, and they were kind of picking, hey, these are going to be our best games. But it's obviously on CBS, so it will be Tony Romo and Jim Nantz. Maybe you think, Tim, or is it they probably in the 4 o'clock hour? Who are the announcers? We need to figure this out.
We should be able to figure that out, right?
I'm gonna fire up the old Google machine right now.
Maybe we'll get our boy Kevin Harlan again.
That would be absolutely awesome.
That would be awesome. I mean, we'll take Burlington, Wisconsin's own Tony Romo too. I mean, of course. But I think it is tricky sometimes when you see those graphics. Like on the socials. I've seen that before also, where you'll see a Fox graphic or a CBS Sports graphic, and you think, they're previewing a game that they're, broadcasting, and it's just it's not. It's just them doing a breakdown or, kind of predictions or whatever it is. But it would have been nice. It would have been nice if this game was at, 3:15 or Sunday Night Football, honestly. But, we'll take a nooner at home. And this is, for all intents and purposes, a possible Super Bowl preview, whether it's this year, next year, the year after, I don't know. But you look at Jordan Love, you look at CJ Stroud, you look at the Texans, you look at the Packers, you see a lot of similarities. You see an extremely high ceiling, and the window is open for both of these teams right now. And it's going to be a fun battle to watch, regardless of who broadcasts it, right?
Yeah. And like J. Cole mentions in the chat, it's Romo and Nance. So did United Bates. Appreciate y'all. I just looked it up and got confirmation too. So it will be Tony Romo and Jim Nance. Those are two of my favorite announcers. I know a lot of people like to dog on them. It seems like whoever the top crews are, people dog on them. I like Tony Romo's insight. I know some people don't like that, but I love the fact that you got a guy who played in the league for so many years kind of talking about how he's seeing the game, what's he seeing it from. If it's somebody like that calling the game, I'll typically turn the announcing on. But
yeah, and Jim Nance is a legend in his own right. Been doing this for a long time, so got to respect him.
Definitely. 2-0 for this wants to know who the officiating crew is, Tim. Have you done that research yet? I still haven't.
No, I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that it's not Mr. Tolbert,
I wonder if we could figure out who is reffing. Let's do this. Packers, Texans, referees. Let's see here.
Big money, no whammy. Big money, no whammy.
7 assignments. All right, let's see. All right, Bengals.
How about Hockey Lee Jr., right? Is that who we got?
I'm showing Scott Novak.
Okay.
So he will be the head official. Let's see. Ron Tolbert has been demoted to the Bengals and the Browns. So they said, go over there to a game nobody's going to watch. Okay,
they called it in. They said, call it in.
Exactly. Who's the other guy you didn't like before? There was another one, too, that I'm trying to say. Was it Bill Vinovich, wasn't it?
Yeah, good old Vinovich.
Yeah, Vinovich is he's calling the Seahawks and the Falcons. So there you go, boy.
Cool.
You get all kinds of stuff on this show, man. We tell you who the bad referee, which games the bad refs are calling, and all that good stuff. So there you go. Let's see. Cody in the chat said, "It appears it was Joe Barry's fault, huh, Clayton? What do you mean, sir?" They
what was Joe Barry's fault?
Yeah, it's a little vague, but typically you got people that come at me because I was watching the tape last year going, this is not Joe Barry's fault. They're dropping interceptions. This is not Joe Barry's fault. People are blowing assignments. They finished 12th in scoring defense, Cody. And let me ask you this, bub. If it was all just Joe Barry, why did they go out and get Xavier McKinney?
Yep.
It was all Joe Barry. Why did they let Devondre Campbell go and go out and draft Edgerrin Cooper?
And Tyron Hopper and Evan Williams and Javon Bullard.
I try to understand where people come from. Like, what was it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, Goody literally retooled the whole safety room.
He basically said Goody all but said, we screwed the pooch. We got to get some new guys in here, fellas. I mean, you've got multiple new starters out there now. Your whole safety room's been revamped. Your linebacker room was pretty much revamped as well. It's just people, they got to have their scapegoat, man. They got to have someone it's their fault. It's that person's fault. I don't understand. It's just a weird way to fan. But I agree. Coach Lynn says it was a personnel problem. Completely agree. And listen, it doesn't mean that we talked about this. Doesn't mean Joe Barry was without fault. That's not what we're saying at all. It's just when you turn on the tape and you see a guy running butt naked through the trailer park, right? We're not talking about the cops tape. We're talking about the Packers tape. But you see a guy running completely wide open, and then you've got 3 defenders looking at each other, throwing their hands up, mad because you were supposed to do this. I was supposed to do that. That's, that means someone busted a coverage. And then when you have 8 dropped interceptions, Joe Barry, you want him to run out there and go, hey, guys, come on, catch the ball for us.
Yeah. at the highest level of football, you know, like that's what you do with a 12-year-old, right? You coach them up that way. I mean, these guys are getting paid millions of dollars to do a job, right? Everyone likes to harp on the kickers when they miss one kick, but you won't jump down a DB's throat when he misses an assignment. You know, you want to blame the DC all the time, but you know,
It's my favorite. Mrs. Green says, Mrs. Green checking in bonfire side and can't believe we're still talking about Joe Barry.
Oh
Isn't it
my
funny,
gosh.
Mrs. Green, that the people who
Sit your butt outside.
People who wanted Joe Barry gone still won't shut up about Joe Barry. And the people who wanted Aaron Rodgers gone and they're so tired of hearing about Aaron Rodgers still won't shut up about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, they're retweeting Jets highlights from practice as we speak.
Right, exactly. Yeah, laughing emoji from Mrs. Green. I love it.
I love it.
I love it. So, again,
I think that's what Coach Len is hitting on, though, right? He said a personnel problem. So, like, it could be the wrong mixture of personnel, right? But it's also the personnel that you had didn't execute. So you had a lot of good players on this team that are still on this team this year that played for us last year. And those guys are playing a higher brand of football than they did last year for sure. And it's as simple as executing, you know?
Definitely. 2-0 for this says it was Joe Barry's fault because Carlson missed the kick against the Niners. Think about that too, because if you look at Joe Barry's defensive statistics as a defensive coordinator in the playoffs, pretty damn good. It's wild. But again, I'm glad that Hafley's here. Some of us are ready to move on. Others still want to bring it up as if they're trying to dunk on people. I think it's hilarious. But Coach Lynn says, when are y'all going to do a watch party? Coach Lynn, man, I have thought about it a lot the last couple of weeks. I think it would be a great time. The problem is we're going live for a pregame show about an hour before the game starts. And if you do a live watch party, that's going to be roughly 3 hours. And then immediately following it, we do an hour-long post-game show. I mean, you're talking about 5 straight hours of me staring at this.
Tough to chart the game, too.
Right. The majority of what you would see if we were doing a watch party is this right here, I guarantee you. That's what the watch party would be. me charting the whole thing.
Along with the delay between the stream and the live feed and our commentary,
And some of us getting the game a little quicker than the other, and they're celebrating. Oh, they're pissed off. What happened? I don't know. It's just, it's tough. I love the idea of it. I really do. I like the idea of getting a whole kind of watch party together where everybody could kind of watch together at a distance. I think that would be awesome, but it's really impossible to sync everything up. You know, I think it would be cool to somehow pull off an old watch party of an old game, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That would be cool.
And we could do it if I got like maybe Zoom and did like a Zoom conference thing. We couldn't obviously broadcast it for copyright purposes, but it would be cool to kind of hang out, you know.
Yeah, and maybe get the Patreon together and just do a watch party.
That'd be cool. Yeah, no doubt. But I love the idea, though, Coach. I really do, man. I think it would be awesome to do that. But kind of tough to pull it off with the normal day. And that's the thing, too. Like, I'm sprinting downstairs at halftime to grab a couple wings, use the restroom, grab another drink.
Right.
Like, just a lot of things that, you know, it's hard to pull off. So, anyway, the preview here, NFL Pro. Obviously, the Packers are 3-point favorites. The over-under is set at 48.5. The money line juice is on the Texans at plus 124. That's how that's all shaken up right now. Now, when it comes to points per game, the Texans are 14th in the league at 23.8 points per game. The Packers are 7th in the league at 27 points per game. Point differential, the Texans are at plus 8. That's 15th in the league. The Packers are at plus 41 in point differential. That's fourth best.
That ain't no problem.
Well,
records in close games. This is a really interesting statistic here. You know, DeMeco Ryans is a hell of a coach. No two ways about it. Their record in close games is 4-0. The Packers is 2-2. All right. So you kind of give a slight advantage there to the Texans, although some could look at that and go, they're due for a loss, right? Average.
It's like I said, let's not have a close game. Let's come out and start fast. Let's not get behind the 8 ball. Let's go up a score or two, try and play from ahead, right? I mean, if we don't keep it close, we don't run that risk, right?
Yeah. Coach Lynn said, "Go watch Jacksonville's defense with Savage on it and tell me we didn't have a personnel problem." I don't know if you caught any of that game. That's absolute cheeks. That team has given up on Peterson, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Average margin of victory, Tim. The Texans are 22nd at 7 points. All right. The average margin of victory for the Packers, they're 15th at 12 points. All right. So winning more blowouts, I guess, is the best way to put that. Turnover differential, they're 13th in the league at an even 0. They've given the ball away an equal amount as they've taken the ball away from their opponents. The Packers are first in the NFL with a +9. So if they continue that in that direction, Tim, going to be an awesome game tomorrow for us Packer fans. You come out and you get a couple takeaways and you protect the football, you've got a really good shot of winning this ball game.
I really do. I think it's going to come down to, I mean, we'll do the matchups, of course, but how our O-line plays against their defensive line is going to be huge in this game. Honestly, I really feel like that it's going to be one in the trenches. Both of these teams have the potential for explosive plays, and I don't know, man. I'd like to avoid a shootout, but I got a feeling that might be what we're in for, and we could just see these guys slinging the ball all over the yard tomorrow. But hopefully, our defense steps up for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And as far as penalties, this is pretty wild. The Texans lead the league in penalties. They've got 51 total penalties. That's dead last in the league. And then the Packers are sitting at 46. They're 25th in the league. So
see, now I'm hoping we did have Ron Tolbert or Bill Vinovich.
Right, when you see something like that, right? No doubt about it, man. For those of you listening on the pod, that's going to do it for hour 1. We will see you on the other side for hour 2. We appreciate y'all. All right. So now when we move on to – welcome back, guys, on the pod.
Listen, guys.
Matchup comparison. All right, let's take a look at this real quick. Let me widen that out. There we go. Perfect. So Texans offense versus the Packers defense. Their overall passing efficiency is number 8. Our overall passing efficiency in defending the pass, I should say, is not. So they're saying no advantage. So when it comes to their passing game against our pass defense, they feel like it's a push. Both of which are top 10 in that category, which is wild to think about. Overall rushing efficiency. The Texans offense are 28th in rushing efficiency. The Packers defense at stopping the run is 8th in the league. So we get a 4-star advantage there when it comes to stopping the run. That makes me feel a lot better about going out and trying to stop Joe Mixon tomorrow. We were talking about that's probably going to be one of the keys to their game with Nico Collins being out. Now, I know they still got Tank Dell. I know they still got our boy used to play in Minnesota, Stephon Diggs.
Yep. So,
again, the running game was kind of what made me go, man, all right, we got to really stop that run. They're showing we got a huge advantage there. Does that surprise you, Tim?
A little bit, considering how we've played against the run historically, and I mean, even throughout this year, we've had our struggles. But you can't, like you said, you can't count out guys like Diggs. I mentioned Dalton Schultz earlier as well at the tight end position. Another target that, especially in those possession type situations, the 3rd and 5s kind of scenario. CJ Stroud loves to throw the ball to him. So this could be a game where, maybe we do look good against the run. We got to be on our P's and Q's in that pass defense because there's multiple ways for them to attack. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, definitely. Braden Fielding in the chat. Good to see you in here, buddy. He says their interior D-line is shaking. Plus, with them missing a couple starting linebackers, I like our chances to run the ball. Praying emoji. I like how you ended it with the praying emoji, right? But
that's a great point, too, though. Interior D-line is a bit shaky, right? But they've got some monsters on the edges,
Yeah. Yeah, Will Anderson, and I think it's Daniil Hunter that's on the outside. So they got a pretty good pass rush. At least they have been in the past. We'll kind of dive into here in a minute what the passing game looks like for the Packers. But
I'm with Braden, though, right? A-gap run, B-gap run. Let's try it.
Especially after we just showed that film breakdown of Josh Jacobs. You really like your chances tomorrow for sure. Just got to come out and establish a run early. Can't be having the center puking on the ball either. We don't need none of that. It's going to be a little bit warmer tomorrow. So definitely got to keep that in check. All right, so pressure rate when it comes to the Texans offense against pressure, 25th in the league. The Packers defense, 19th. All right, so they give a 1-star advantage to the Packers. So when it comes to the Texans offense versus the Packers defense, no advantage in the passing game, right? The overall rushing efficiency leans heavily towards the Packers defense being favored. And then when applying pressure and a quarterback under pressure, all that good stuff, the Packers have a slight advantage. So you like the way that looks for sure. Now, obviously, they're probably better well known as a defensive team. So when we go to the Packers offensive side, Packers overall passing efficiency is 10th in the league. The Texans defense is 4th. All right, so that's a 2-star advantage for the Texans. That right there alone got me wanting to press into the running game a little bit more, right, Tim? When you talk about, how effective can you be with the run? Overall rushing efficiency, the Packers are 7th in the league. The Texans are 20th. So everything's kind of pointing towards lean on that run like we're talking. And as far as pressure rate, Packers offense against pressure rate, 15th. The Texans defense is 1st in the league. So that's a 4-star advantage there. So when you take all 6 of those, both with each team's offense and respective defenses, what you end up with is 1 push, 3 for the Packers, and 2 for the Texans. It could be a hell of a game, and I think it's going to be a real close game coming down the wire tomorrow. Anything you want to add to that, what we just covered there?
No, I think that's pretty accurate. I mean, you talk about rushing efficiency, right? Like, we talk about Jacobs and Emmanuel Wilson being kind of the, the 1-2 punch right now since Dylan, is out for the year or whatever. But and then like you said, leaning on the run versus going run heavy, right? This doesn't have to be a run heavy approach like we did for a couple of weeks when we had Malik Willis, filling in the void while Jay Money was getting better. But you definitely need to lean on your run, and you have to establish it, and you've got to be efficient. And I think if you get a guy like Jacobs going, and then, you bring Emmanuel Wilson in to give him a breather here and there, and then maybe you run, a couple pass plays, that kind of thing, keep your offense balanced. That's going to be your best formula for success. I think if we lean too much into the run or we're too pass heavy, we could get a little stagnant on offense. And against, a DeMeco Ryans coach defense, man, you can't do that. So hopefully we, like you said, lean on the run, but, we don't have to be run heavy, I don't think, in this game. We just have to establish it and be efficient.
Yeah, love it. All right, let's go to matchup insights. This is one of my favorite things to cover every week. All right, so here's what you got. Joe Mixon versus the Packers defense. Joe Mixon ran for 102 yards and a touchdown on just 13 carries in his return to the lineup in Week 6, recording 77 of his rushing yards before contact. Mixon has now averaged, 2.2 yards before contact per carry this year, third most among running backs with at least 40 carries. Matchup. After contacting opposing rushers before the line of scrimmage on 46.5% of carries through the first 4 weeks of the season, 6th highest in the NFL, the Packers defense has lowered that rate to just 27.5% over the last 2 weeks. So you're seeing them, and they damn near cut that in half, Tim. So the Packers run defense is playing much better as of late, but Joe Mixon returned there in Week 6 and looked pretty dominant. So we've got to keep an eye on that. Next, Rashawn Gary versus Titus Howard. All right, Rashawn Gary has generated 16 pressures on 153 pass rushes this season, generating a career-low 10.5% pressure rate. Gary has particularly struggled with his first step, recording an average get-off of 0.93 seconds, his slowest of his career and his 16th slowest among edge defenders with at least 75 pass rushes this season. Gary has aligned as the Packers' left edge rusher on 83.3% of the snaps this season, the highest rate on the team. Matchup. The Texans' starting right tackle, Titus Howard, returned to the lineup in Week 6, allowing a season-low 2 pressures on 35 pass blocks. Howard has now allowed a 9.6% pressure rate this season, 24th among 38 right tackles with at least 75 pass blocking snaps this season. So, again, we've kind of broken this down over and over and over, talking about the specific pass rush that you're watching on different individual plays. We'll see if they pin their ears back and go after the quarterback tomorrow or not, but C.J. Stroud's a good scrambler as well, and you definitely want to protect those rush lanes there against Joe Mixon, no doubt about that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as much as we just talked about us having to establish the run and lean on the run, the Texans are going to have to, you got to think they're going to do the same thing with Mixon, right? And then try to get their offense going off the run game and then free up guys like Diggs in the pass game. So, this is, I mean, the stars are aligning because, like you said, like we've been playing better against the run the past 2 to 3 weeks as a whole, as a defense. So hopefully we're primed up for tomorrow's matchup. Because Joe Mixon's like, that dude's the real deal. You cannot sleep on a guy like that at all.
Yeah. Godsmack AR69 with the super chat. Appreciate you, buddy. Said, whoever's calling the game, I can't take another Sunday suffering through Daryl Johnston. Please take him off the air. Have mercy. This is why I hate noon games. A bunch of Rena commentators.
We're going to give him some.
Thank you for the super chat, Godsmack. I like what Harry Cheese says. That's why I mute/turn down the game and put on a stream.
Well, Johnston is on Fox, right? So we're spared from that for tomorrow.
And I think Moose Johnston's a great guy. I think he was a hell of a fullback. But yeah, when he calls the game, it is kind of tough. But like Harry Cheese says, that's why I turn down the game. What I used to do, Tim, back in the day when I had like the original Dolby 5.1 surround sound, right?
Yes.
The announcers always come through the center speaker, right?
Yep.
So I would unplug that center speaker and have all the stadium noise and surround sound. It felt like you were sitting there at the game, and I'd crank up Wayne Larrivee. The problem I have with Wayne Larrivee is you can't. It's real hard to sync it up with the game.
See, it didn't used to be like that. See, before we went digital, you could do that. You could turn on the Packers radio network in the background and just turn your TV sound down. It would be pretty much in sync. But I don't know what that was 15 years ago or so or something like that. They went digital and we got the delay and forget it now, right? Unless we can find a way to hack the in-game feed from the Packers. I don't think we're going to be able to do that anymore.
Yeah, definitely. So there you go. And again, the announcers, in case you didn't know, Godsmack, if you just stepped in here, it's going to be Jim Nance and Tony Romo. So, but thank you for the super chat, bud. Appreciate you. All right, back to the insights here. C.J. Stroud has targeted an outside receiver on 43.3% of his pass attempts this season, fourth highest rate in the NFL, completing 58 of his 90 such attempts for a league-high 817 yards. It said Stroud has also generated plus 31.5 EPA when targeting outside receivers this season, third most in the NFL. Tank Dell was aligned as an outside receiver on 75.1% of his snaps this season, second on the team behind only the injured Nico Collins, who still leads the NFL with 535 receiving yards from a wide alignment, 167 more than the next closest receiver. Dell has recorded just 139 yards from an out wide alignment this season, but had 608 in 2023 before getting hurt in week 12, 11th in the NFL over that span. So C.J. Stroud really likes to attack outside the numbers. He's got the arm talent to do it. So definitely keep your eye on that when you if you want to go back and watch the tape too and kind of see where he's targeting those guys outside. Last week or the week before last, we showed you how the Rams were really targeting those digs, and it's obvious we took those away fairly easy. Now those outside routes, you got to be careful because if you overcompensate and you leave the middle of the field open, Stroud can cut you up there too. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see what defense they play. You might see a little more Mabel this week where you're going to have three levels along the sideline of defenders if you're in zone. Probably going to see a fair share of man coverage. We're seeing that trending up now that these guys are getting a grab of the defense. Obviously, the last 2 weeks, I think man coverage, cover one specifically, has increased every week. So,
and of course, a little sprinkle of Tampa 2 in there as well, right?
I love Tampa too, man. I think it's awesome. I really do.
Sure.
They were talking about missing linebackers, and it's true, right? You got Al-Shair and you've got Tuo. That's how you say his name. Those two guys are definitely going to be missing the game. They're listed as out. You've also got Jimmy Ward, the safety, out. Wide receiver Robert Woods, we talked about, he's out. And Kamari Lassiter with the shoulder is out. I mean, we're definitely healthier than they are, Tim. Would you agree with that? I mean, we're hands down healthier. Yeah.
And then, like going back on what we were talking about earlier with, maybe exploiting that interior D line, inside run, maybe inside zone tomorrow a little bit. I mean, look, they're down linebackers too. So, I mean, you talk about middle of the D line and then middle of the field. if there was a time to just pound the rock, it may be tomorrow against the Texans, and just see if we can do it on the ground to free up things in the passing game for sure. But it does look like overall these injury reports are, a couple pages long for each team for sure, but we certainly look to be on the upswing while the Texans are they are banged up significantly more than we are at this point, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with that. All right. So their passing leader obviously is C.J. Stroud. He is 142 of 208 for 1,577 yards. He's got 10 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions with a rating of 98.6. His yards per attempt is 7.6. To compare that to Jordan Love, Jordan Love's slightly better at a 7.7. His completion percentage, however, significantly better than Jordan's, actually 10 points higher, roughly a little less than 10 points higher at 68.3%. So he definitely showing that accuracy that we've seen last year. Obviously, Jordan Love has missed 2 games, so when it comes to overall yardage, his 1,131, you'd probably be well past C.J. Stroud if he hadn't missed those 2 games, he being Jordan Love. 12 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. So you got to clean up the picks. Obviously, you protect the football like Matt LaFleur says. It's all about the ball. You win the ball, you win the game. There's no two ways about it. Joe Mixon now in the season has 52 carries for 286 yards. He's averaging 5.5 yards per carry. So that's definitely something to keep your eye on there. Cam Akers. Didn't Cam Akers get hurt? Am I thinking right, Tim? Did he?
Yeah, I thought we talked about that last week, right?
Or did they trade for him? They traded for him, didn't they? Is that what it was? Something happened. Something happened with Cam Akers. I'm pretty sure he's not on an injury report, though, right? Yeah, no, he's healthy. He's healthy. Okay. Unless he's on IR. I was thinking that maybe they traded for Cam Akers. I think that's what happened. Let me just Google it real quick so I can let y'all know either way. Cam Akers trade. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they traded for him.
Vikings.
So they did. They traded him to the Vikings. That's right. I knew I heard that. So with Aaron Jones' injury, they went out and got Cam Akers. So Cam Akers is no longer on the team. Not that he was playing great or anything. I mean, Damian Pierce obviously averaging 8.4 yards a carry, but just something worth mentioning there.
Something for us to watch here in the NFC North, right? They're putting a Band-Aid on that running back situation there with AJ 33 out of the lineup at least for the foreseeable future. So we got it. Cam Akers, like you said, like not a stud, not a top tier, but certainly not bottom of the barrel. A guy you got to account for in the run game for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. Receiving. Nico Collins obviously is going to be out of the game. He's their leading receiver. Stephon Diggs has been targeted 48 times. He has 37 catches for 392 yards and 3 touchdowns. His catch percentage is 77.1% at 151 yak yards there.
That's crazy numbers right there. I mean, read that again.
Yeah.
48 targets, 37 receptions.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's a human vacuum cleaner. So we gotta account for him for sure.
He's got 3 touchdowns too. Let's do this. Let's take a quick gander here and watch these touchdowns. You want 210? Is that all right with you?
Yeah, why not?
Let's go let's go end zone cam here. And we'll just do this on the fly. And we'll keep it in zone cam. And let's see exactly what happens. All right, so Stroud back to pass. Just a 4-man rush slant. Just a quick slant. That's like taking Mountain Dew from a baby right there. All right, next one, a 2-yard touchdown.
Okay, I remember this one.
Yeah, it's against the Patriots, right?
Yeah, this is last week.
A little play action, look like a little RPO looking.
And another slant, right? Or was that a post?
Yeah. You're seeing the trend here. You're seeing the trend. So when they get inside the red zone, look for Stephon Diggs on those slants, no doubt about it. All right, let's see. Is this the same play?
It looks like it.
Yeah, it's the same play. Okay. All right, so we already got him. All right. Cool, bang. Yeah, we got the 9-yarder too. Sometimes it gets hung up. You got to be aware of it. Did we see the 2-yard or we did not see the 2-yarder, did we?
No, this is a different one here.
All right. So here we are again inside the 5, sprint left option, little out route.
Wow.
So you've seen 2 slants and an out. When they get inside the 20, he's looking for Stephon Diggs. There's no 2 ways about that, Tim.
Yeah.
No 2 ways about it.
Absolutely. And maybe that's a situation where you do go man up with Jair. We talk about year 1 following a 1 or whatever. Maybe situationally, you get backed up in the red zone. Maybe that's the time to call a man set and let Ja run around with Stephon Diggs. We already know the history between those 2 guys,
Definitely. All right, so obviously the teams that they have played their last 5 games, typically you'll look at the last 4 game saturation. Let's just go through it, though. Obviously, week 2, it isn't showing the entire schedule, so we'll just go last 5 games. Week 2 against the Bears, they beat them 19-13. Week 3 against the Vikings, they lost 34-7. So the fact that we lost to the Vikings by 2 points and they got boat raced 34-7 really makes you think we're well equipped to beat the Texans. We got everything it takes. Against the Jaguars, they barely squeaked by 24-20. Same thing with the Bills, 23-20. Bills a much better team than the Jaguars, I promise you that. And then the Patriots, of course, they beat them pretty handily, 41-21, which Patriots are just in shambles right now. All right. So we talked receivers, all that good stuff. Let's go to defense. Let's kind of look at some of their defensive leaders here real quick. Let's see. Do we got a tackle? All right, here we go. So, yeah, obviously Henry 2020 is out. He's their leading tackler. Shire's their second leading tackler. So Al-Shire's out as well. I mean, they're really, really thin at the linebacker position. Now, if there's any coach that can get a young group together, it's DeMeco Ryans having his history with the league. Next would be Jalen Petrie as far as tackles go. As far as sacks, Will Anderson's up to 5.5 sacks. That is wild, Tim.
How do you think the them being short in the linebacker room there? Do you think that's going to affect the game plan for LaFleur tomorrow?
I think
they've known this for a few days, right? Like we knew these guys were going to be out.
Have plenty of time to game plan
for it. Install, you know.
Yeah, I think that the way that you combat that is running the football, man. You know, maybe you get away from the stretch plays because you do have Will Anderson on the outside, which is just a great young defender. Same thing with Daniil Hunter. You know, I mean, you look at their stops. Will Anderson, he's got 5.5 sacks, but look at the stops, 17 run stops. Same thing with Daniil Hunter, 11. Those guys are fairly solid there on the outside. I would say, to answer your question, I'd be looking to test with inside run and duo and then play action, that mid-level. Try to get them to jump that play action and attack with digs across the middle, maybe some shallow crosses, that type of thing. There you go, Coach Lynn.
Coach Lynn, right on the money. Attack the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Tuck Norris is going to have a day.
There you go. Remember the play we showed earlier today, the 66-yarder from Jordan Love to Tucker. That was a little shallow cross. It was almost like a mid-climb route. Got right behind the backers off play action. I could see that happening again. So I want to check your fantasy rosters there and throw old Tuck Norris in. Might be a good day to do that. So
yeah. What are you waiting for?
Something amazing. All right. Will Anderson, let's look at his sacks real quick. All right with you, man?
Yes, sir.
Let's kind of see what this dude's doing off the edge. Pause it. We're going to go with the end zone cam. Definitely the best one to look at the sacks with. So this play here, does it show us? It does. Okay, there it is. So 3rd and 1 right here. And they're at Houston. This is Chicago at Houston's 41-yard line. Let's roll the tape. Will Anderson. I think he's over here. I believe that's Will right there. They move him around quite a bit too. Let's see where Will comes from. Now, other side. Woo! Boy, that was quick, Tim. So watch him here at right end. He's on the left side. He's over the left tackle. That's a wide 9.
Wide 9, yeah.
Look at this. Let's see what kind of move he throws on him.
Oh, and look.
And look at there.
A move. Nobody blocked him.
Look at my man's arms out, looking like the Undertaker. Look at that zombie.
Wait, go back pre-snap. You got to love this Bears O-line, right? You got 2 guys in wide 9s, and watch 70.
Yeah.
He's doubling down on the what is that, a 3 tech?
Yeah. That's and they were expecting the tight end to come over and chip. Yeah. And they were wanting the ball to come out quick. Here's the problem. The tight end didn't chip and the ball didn't come out quick. He about killed poor Caleb Williams. All right, so that was the first sack. I think Rasheed Walker will be able to get a hand on him. All right, I'm not worried about that one. Let's go on to this Vikings one here. All right, so Will Anderson, I imagine he's 52. So again, another wide 9, little inside. Oh, there's a little stunt. See it, Tim?
Yeah.
Oh, he was off the other side. All right. So they do move him around a lot. That's what we're noticing. This play here, he's at left end or over the right tackle. He's in a wide 9, number 51. All right, and that's just power outside. Yeah. So you just use
not a bad job by the right tackle there.
No, that ball's got to come out, man. You know those boys are going to eat. Like when you count this off, let's count it off from the snap. Ready? 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000. Yeah, you got to get that ball
out.
So that's
got to get it out, or you got to get out. One of the two.
Yeah, with your life, hopefully. That was definitely a coverage sack there. So wasn't a crazy pass rush there by no means. All right, so again, we're looking for 51. Look how far out he is here.
Wide 9 again.
That's a wide 12. Look at that. If there ever was one. This poor Patriots tackle, look, he got his knees together like, oh, crap. Here we go. Let's see what happens. What kind of move we got. Again, it's just pressure and rip, isn't it? It's speed and pressure outside, rip move, and just getting to the quarterback. That one was a little quicker there. Let's cap this one off here. We ain't got no stopwatch. We'll do it the redneck way. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, almost 4.
You got to figure Zach Tom will fare a little better against that tomorrow.
Absolutely. All right, so here's Drake May again getting sacked, looking for 51. Now he's back over to the right side, so he's over the left tackle. This poor guy right here is going, crap. Look at that head looking at him.
Wide 9 again. Is that all they do is line this guy up? Wide 9?
Tell you, wide 9 is where it's at. Oh, look at this. So he started outside, bull rushing, just a little, almost like a little baby swim move there. Now that seemed a lot quicker.
Gotta love when you're getting held and then you still sack the quarterback. You see that at the end.
1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3. See, that was right at 3 seconds. So that's a little better there. All right. And then the final one, this one's going to lose 10 yards. He must have sprinted straight backwards. Where's 51 at? You see him?
Left side.
I don't think that's him. This is him right here, probably. Is he standing up on this play?
I think
so. He's over the see, they're chipping him now. See it? Tight end link to chip him. Yep. Comes through, rip. That's a long time, though, man. They must have decent coverage in these games, man, because they got forever. Let's do it again. Let's count it here. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000. Nah, that's 4. Jordan going to get that ball out.
Yeah. I mean, this is, like you said, we're looking at the Patriots here. That's a rookie quarterback. Probably could have changed the protection.
Yeah. That's a rookie everything over there, man. That establishment is, how the mighty have fallen. All right. So there you go. We kind of hit all that. We hit on some of the matchup insights. We got some performance trends. Here's one from Jordan Love. Jordan Love has thrown at least 2 touchdowns and 1 interception in each of the 4 games he has played in this season. So, as Brett Favre used to say, Tim, as long as I'm throwing more touchdowns and interceptions, they'll let me keep playing. So
That's right. That's right. He also said,
"You think God never farted?"
All right, key advantages. We're doing good on time. We're good to go. Key advantages, rushing inside the tackles. The Texans offense, 32nd in the league. Keep in mind, guys, Joe Mixon just came back too, so they were playing with a backup running back, which was Cam Akers, who obviously is now with the Vikings. So I think that probably skewed these numbers a little bit too. You can't overlook it. Nonetheless, they've got our defense as number 9 inside the tackles as far as stopping the run there. 5-star advantage goes to the Packers. Rushing in the red zone, Texans offense is 29th. And you see now why they're going to that lookie, that alert, that slant inside the 20, inside the 10, inside the 5. But nonetheless, rushing in the red zone, the Packers defense is 8th, and that's a 5-star advantage. Rushing under center, so when you're not in shotgun, right, they're 28th when they're not in the gun, and they're under center running the ball. Against teams doing that, the Packers rush defense is 2nd in the league, 4-star advantage. Deep passing game, the Texans offense is 19th in the league, the Packers defense 3rd in the league, really controlling those explosive plays, no doubt. 4-star. Let's see, quick passing. This is where they're good, Tim. C.J. Stroud in this Texans offense, quick passing game, 3rd best in the league. Packers defense is 17th best when facing quick passing attacks. So 4-star advantage to the Texans there. So when you're talking Texans offense, Packers defense, Packers have 4 advantages to the Texans only 1. All right, so Packers offense, quarterback scrambles, 7th best in the league. Packers offense is. The Texans defense sucks, absolutely sucks at facing scrambling quarterbacks, right? 5-star advantage to the Packers. Passing versus the blitz, however, the Packers have struggled. They're 30th in the league. The Texans defense is 7th best when providing that blitz we're talking about. 5-star advantage to the Texans.
This is what we talked about. Keep Jordan clean. Give him a clean pocket and let him cook.
Now look at this. Running the ball out of shotgun. All right. Running the ball out of shotgun. The Packers are 3rd best in the league. The Texans defense are 21st at stopping it.
So I'm assuming the top two is Kansas City and Baltimore, probably.
I would imagine so. Pressure rate, Packers offense 15th best, Texans defense first in the league. So 4-star advantage there for the Texans. Intermediate passing, the Packers are 25th. The Texans defense are 8th at stopping it, 4-star advantage for the Texans. So they've got 3 of the 5 key advantages there when we're talking about those specific categories. So
that means run the ball and then take deep shots all day, right?
Run the ball out of shotgun, maybe a little bit out of pistol, but don't be afraid to use that sidecar. Let them make the mistakes and grind this thing out, man. I think it's going to be a close one all the way down to the wire. There's no two ways about it, man. Let's see here. Prince in the chat bringing some information. Fullback Beck was elevated from the practice squad for the 3rd week in a row. He is now maxed out on eligibility. We are new tight end. Better be ready for next week. There you go. Now, here's the thing, too, Prince. Now he has to clear waivers, right? When you basically, if you don't keep him on the active roster, you got to cut him so you can clear waivers, and then you can put him back on the practice squad, right? Am I thinking right there?
I believe so.
I think that's how that works. You're protected with 3 elevations where people can't sign them to the practice squad. Now other teams will have an opportunity to sign them to their practice squad. I think you go to the back of the waiver wire, maybe. I could be confused on that. So just keep an eye on that. But, yeah, he graded out pretty well last week, if you'll remember, Tim. Fullback Anthony. Is it Anthony Beck? Am I thinking right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. He's only been here for a cup of coffee, but my man graded out pretty well.
Yeah, he had a few snaps, right?
Yep, yeah. For sure. All right, so there you go with that. Key advantage is passing. If we were to dig a little deeper into the passing game, you know what? Rather than doing this, Tim, why don't we change it up and let's go to the PFF preview. I wanted to get to this, and we may hit on it a little bit more tomorrow during the pregame show as well. But I definitely wanted to hit on this because we haven't got a chance to look at it too close, and we got about 9 minutes. I think we can go rapid fire here and knock this out. So let's go lineups. So take this out a little bit. All right, we're going to go full screen. Maybe that'll help just a touch. And so let's start with the Packers offense against their nickel defense. Now, keep in mind, our boy 2020, Watois, Toto, whatever the hell his name is, Tim, 61.9, but he's going to be out tomorrow. All right, so you're without that cat there. They must not have updated their system yet. The big thing that sticks out to me, though, those edge rushers, man, they might have the best edge rushing tandem in the entire NFL. Danielle Hunter, 82.5 off the edge. On the opposite side, Will Anderson Jr. at an 80.7. Now, in the middle, this is what we were talking about, right? Fatukasi, was he healthy, Tim? Wasn't he injured? Am I thinking right? Let me go to the injury.
Well, I'll tell you, Fatukasi was all over the game film last week against the Patriots.
Is that right?
Yeah, he was one that I had circled. Now, again, that's New England's O-line, not our O-line, but he looked like an absolute dog against the Patriots last week. So regardless of the PFF rating, that's another one. 91 is another one you got to keep an eye on. 91, 51, and 55 up front there.
Got it. And he is listed as questionable right now, so they may be going even deeper.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
Exactly. Now, Hewitt here at linebacker, let's take a quick gander at him. Has he got limited snaps this year or something? Is that what it is? So he's only played in 2 games, basically. He had 1 snap in week 4, and then in week 6 he had to step in. But, man, he graded out really, really well. So he had 26 passing snaps, 13 rushing snaps, and he graded out an 82. If I'm looking at this correctly, it's not showing his individual game.
Definitely a dude to watch, though, right? Veteran player.
Right.
Guy that may be past his prime, but someone that's going to definitely step up when they're thin at linebacker.
He's been in the league for almost 10 years, so he's been around the game. I'm sure he understands the system for sure.
Yep.
So that's the big thing. If you were to label Tuesday players, for me it would be Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson, no doubt about it. Now their corners are playing really, really well too. Ross probably limited snaps, I would imagine. So he just played in week 6. Looked like he played pretty much every snap, but grading out a 71.9 this year. And then on the opposite side, though, you got Stingley Jr. He's the 19th highest graded cornerback in the league right now. Got a coverage grade of 75.8, overall defensive grade of 74.4. So their corners playing pretty good ball. Their strong safety, Eric Murray, playing decent, 65, and he's pretty much played in every game this year. So D'Amico's got this defense playing pretty good, man, no matter who's out there. So you really got to respect him.
That's a great matchup, though. You're right. Stingley Jr. and Scoot over there, one-on-one.
Yeah. And the beautiful thing is I don't think they'll play a whole lot of man coverage where these corners follow. So you can kind of pick your spot if you're Matt LaFleur, mix and match. Who do you want to play F? Who do you want to play slot, Z? Move everybody around. How involved do you want to get the tight ends? All those things. So, but Jaden Reed against their slot corner Petrie, you kind of like that, 77.7. And one thing about it, man, if you want to open up the middle of the field like Coach Lynn was talking about too, stretch the field a couple of times with Watson on some deep shots and watch them really, really start to adjust that defense to where they can't put that extra body in an underneath zone or in a hole spot or a rob or something like that. So now as far as those two edge rushers we talked about, it's going to be we showed you Will Anderson hopping around both from side to side. So you really like whoever's going to line up over Zach Tom, you feel comfortable that he can handle the job, right? We were showing you these guys hitting home in over 4 seconds, and that's not a great time to get to the quarterback. I think Zach Tom will be just fine. Rasheed Walker worries me just a touch, grade down to 63.8. His pass blocking's been great, don't get me wrong, at 80.8. The thing I'm worried about, Tim, whether it's Daniil Hunter or Will Anderson is lined up over him, he's going to get grabby. Hopefully he'll keep that in check tomorrow, right? With the penalties.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our O-line has got to be disciplined. They have to play disciplined football, and they can't. I mean, you're going to get called for the occasional hold, whatever. And when it comes to protecting Jay Love, I'll take a holding penalty all day over our quarterback getting annihilated in the pocket. But they got to be on their P's and Q's, and I think the run game will do us a big service in making things easier in pass pro for our O-line going against those big edge guys. Maybe I don't know. What do you think? Like we talked about running inside, A gap, B gap, maybe inside zone. What do you think about like a counter run or, mixing an outside zone on occasion, but like, how would you combat that? Because clearly the strength is, the right and left side of their D line.
Yeah, I think what you're going to want to do is try to steal a half a hat or a half a gap. And you can do that a number of different ways. I think the pre-snap motion is going to be crucial, but here's the thing. Basically, D'Amico Ryans, his defense comes from the same exact tree as Jeff Hafley's, right? Well, the OC, I can't remember his OC's name, but I heard Michael Lombardi talking about it the other day. A couple other people were talking about it as well. It's cut from the same Shanahan tree. So what you've got here, Tim, is two teams that their offense and defense is going to be very, very similar to each other. So, the way that you kind of gain an advantage is you're trying to steal a gap. You're trying to steal a half a hat. So I think you're going to do that with pre-snap motion. There's no two ways about it. You've got to be able to maximize. I mean, we've seen it last week where Jaden Reed from the wing position sifted over and blocked the defensive end. Remember that on Chalk Talk? We went, what the hell was that? I mean, that's LaFleur in his bag right there. I don't like it. I don't want to see it again. Just poor Jaden Reed. But it's crazy. He stuck the dude, didn't he? He held up. So, so I think you might be able to get in a little duo. We haven't seen sift blocking that much. That was so surprising with Jaden Reed. Last year, early in the year, you guys know I was standing on my soapbox screaming at the top of my lungs, stop the sift, stop the sift. Like, this is ridiculous. They can't do it. It's not working. You're not fooling anyone. You haven't seen it much so far this year, Tim. The second half of the year last year, first 4 or 5 games, we were over-sifting, and the running backs were getting blown up the backfield. We changed it up, got away from the sift, that about the midpoint of the season, and then on the backside of that season, we came back to the sift, right? Because these guys are watching these 4-game saturations of footage, right? So they're going back and seeing, okay, there's a sift. And then all of a sudden you prepare for the sift and we don't sift. Some people call it slice. Some people call it split flow. Some people call it split zone. You can call it whatever you want. Dumbo, I don't care. But it's what we're talking about is the tight end, right? Blocking over. As soon as the ball is snapped, he'll come across the formation and pick up the end coming off the edge. And what that does is it creates the illusion that you're blocking left and everyone else is going zone right. So it allows the left tackle to be able to double down on the guy's assignment with the left guard. And you do that by the tight end blocking over. So essentially what you end up doing is the tight end is showing almost like a power run, like, okay, he's lead blocking to that side. That might trigger a linebacker to bite in that direction. But the rest of the offensive line is blocking away from it with a zone blocking scheme. So that's why I've always heard it called split zone, because it looks like, okay, you're going to allow this defensive end to come in unblocked. The tight end, bang, hits him. Everybody's blocking right. You've now stolen a half a gap or increased your hat count in the running game by half a hat. And that's where it's just cut back city, do your thing, Josh Jacobs. So I think that might be the best way to approach it, to attack the middle of the field. I don't like the stretch this week. You know what I'm saying? The outside zone.
Yeah.
Because we showed you the stop numbers. Not only is Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson playing, rushing the quarterback pretty well, but according to the stats, their run defense has been pretty solid too. I mean, yeah, like a 60.9 for a wide 9. That's pretty solid run defensive grade there. Their job is to get after the quarterback. The fact that that isn't in the 40s or 50s really says a lot. If we go back to Will Anderson, let's see. Yeah, look at his run defense grade, Tim. 77.5, man.
Yeah. So these guys are not just pass rushers.
Yeah. I'm saying inside zone, duo, split flow, that type of thing, and then run your normal traditional play action drop back and get those backers to bite, attack the middle of the field. You got to protect the damn football, though. It's the only way you're going to win this game. Got to protect the football.
So,
all right, man. I think that was a pretty good deep dive there into the offensive side and their defense. Let's just take one quick look, all right, at our defense against their offense, their 11 personnel. Let's stick with that.
Look at that. Xavier McKinney back there with that 90.5.
And we ain't even got Evan Williams on the field. He's higher than Xavier McKinney, right?
That's right.
So when you look at their offense, if you were to say, okay, where are the Tuesday players? Obviously, C.J. Stroud, 6th highest graded quarterback in the league. Joe Mixon's the 31st highest graded running back. Again, he returned last week. Tank Dell could be an issue, but this is your main focus right here, Tim. Stephon Diggs, right? Yeah. Stop the running game first and foremost and try to – what I would do is look at Stephon Diggs' tape and go, okay, what routes do they have him running the most? When they like to run slot cross, when they like to run dagger or wolf or cab or levels, whatever the concept is, what is his number one route in all of those categories? So what you'll do is you'll watch the tape and go, okay, let's chart this game. Let's chart their last 4 games. I want to know every passing concept they ran over the last 4 games. All right, got it. Now, within those passing concepts, which 3 did they run the most? Okay, bingo. Let's key in on stopping. Let's set together a defensive game plan to stop those 3 route combinations or passing concepts. And then the next step to peel another layer back is, all right, what route is Stephon Diggs running within his responsibilities of those 3 specific passing concepts? And then you put yourself in a position to shut that down. Now what you're doing, if you take the run away and you take Stephon Diggs away, you're now forcing the offense to play left-handed. They're going to have to go to Tank Dell. They're going to have to go to Hutchinson. They're going to have to go to Dalton Schultz, right? That should be kind of the game plan there. So for me, it's Diggs, Stroud, and Mixon. That's who you got to watch for.
I agree. And as far as how they utilize Diggs, I mean, from what I saw on the Patriots tape last week, a lot of him in motion is very vanilla. You don't see him in a lot of that boomerang or orbit or zipper motion or anything like that. He may get motioned or flexed to another side or something like that. So nothing super complex, but guy's dynamic in the slot or on the boundary. So you're absolutely right. We got to focus on him.
Yeah, definitely. And when you look at where he's lined up by position as far as snaps goes, pretty even across the board, man. He's lined up out wide 167 snaps. He's lined up in the slot 166. Now, they may have to use him more outside now that Nico Collins is gone, right? I don't know. I haven't dove enough into his tape or anything to kind of know where he lines up predominantly, but they're going to move Stephon Diggs around. Like you said, I don't think it's with any kind of crazy cheat motion. It's just more or less put him in the spot where you want him, and you do that with a little bit of motion. So
absolutely.
All right. I think we've covered it pretty well, man. We covered a lot of information here. This flew by tonight. Heck yeah.
Yeesh.
All right. So what we're going to do, gang, tomorrow, well, let's clean up the chat here real quick. Let's see. 2-0 for this. Is that the ghost of Jay Cutler hanging up behind Tim? There you go. I don't know if you guys seen, but Smoking Jay Cutler got arrested for the old DUI this past week. So, moment of silence for Jay Cutler.
That's not Jay Cutler, man. He doesn't have a daddy soda and a pistola. So,
Exactly. 2-0 for this as Jair was fined $11,000 for being a cornerback last week. He is going to really go
I know you saw that, right? You saw the play, right?
Yeah.
Like, good Lord. What did he do wrong?
I don't know, man. Tim, listen, I know it's not a popular opinion. I guarantee you'll disagree with me, and that's okay. I'm done making excuses for him. It probably wasn't warranting a flag, but it's like, why does he always have to be in the middle of everything, Tim?
Because that's his role, man. That's our Dennis Rodman. That's our guy.
Yeah, bingo. That's
it is. Our guy. That's our guy. He's going to play hard, and he's going to try and take you out of your game mentally.
Yeah,
that's Josh. Sometimes he goes overboard. What I don't like, I'm all for the flag on the field, right? Call it on Sunday. Don't call me on Tuesday and send me a fine.
Yeah,
don't retroactively go back and be like, hey, we didn't like this. That's one thing I do not like about how the league handles a lot of this. I mean, if it's called, like you say, Clayton, right? You see it, you got to say it, right? So if the ref sees it, he's got to flag it. Fine. It is what it is. But man, coming back 2-3 days later, looking at film and going, I didn't like that. I don't know, man. $11,000 is a lot of money, even in this economy.
Yeah, you got that right, man. So again, I'm not a Jair hater. I just every time I look up, I'm like, damn it, Ja, what are you? When they threw the flag for personal foul, I'm like, of course it was Ja. Of course it was Jair back here.
Things could be a lot worse. I could be a Bears fan.
He's going to come out on fire tomorrow, though. I mean, obviously he absolutely despises Diggs, so I'm with you on that 2-0 for this, no doubt, man. Holmes MD1 says God favors those who run the football. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right. CL Freeman, I'm surprised Cutler didn't get intercepted before the DUI.
Hey, that was down there near Nashville, wasn't it?
Oh, it was. Yeah.
Down there in Tennessee there.
Put that on the ticker right there. That's definitely the CL Freeman wins the contest tonight.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the comment of the night right there. That is hilarious.
I'm surprised Cutler didn't decide to just ride the bike rather than drive the car, if you know what I mean. You guys remember that?
Yeah, I do. All right. And then Holmes MD want to end the show with that. This show sucks. Yes, it does. It has sucked for a while, and I don't know why so many people are still sitting in here. But thank y'all for making us part of your evening. We really appreciate it. Special shout out to TC Fan with the super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. And Godsmack AR69, thank you so much for the super chat. You guys are awesome. Tim, help me out here, man.
Tomorrow, let's go. Pre-game. We're going, 10:30 Central?
10:30.
11:30 Eastern?
Got it. 10:30 Central. We'll be going live for the PTA pregame show. And then immediately following the game, we'll be going live for the PTA postgame show, bringing you guys all the news, stats, analysis, all that good stuff from what we hope is going to be another Packer dub, man. They're definitely peaking right now. I'm excited to see them continue to get better. It's going to be a great matchup tomorrow, man. It's going to be a great test, no doubt about it. So,
absolutely.
Help me out here, Tim.
For those of you listening on the pod,
thank you for making us a part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world. We will see y'all tomorrow morning. Go Pack, go.